doing the corpse paint and having our music and art about death is just something that feels very natural to us. Even if black metal didn't evolve or exist in the way it does, I really full-heartedly believe that we would still be doing Doodswens the same way as we're doing it now.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm I, drummer and vocalist from a Dutch black metal band Doodswens.
So, I asked this question of everyone who describes their music as black metal. So, please bear with me. But when you say black metal, what does that mean? What does black metal mean to you?
Yeah, that's, a good question, right? Because there is the genre of black metal, but also my personal meaning and interpretation of it. And for the genre of black metal, you can, like look up the history and where it kind of started and the name first got brought up. I think it was Venom on their album Black Metal that first came with the term. But then to many of us that are familiar with it, of course, started in Norway when some, mostly teenagers went a bit crazy up there from mental health issues and isolation and cold, dark snow surroundings. And it goes hand in hand with, like extreme music and some violence and murder. Very anti-Christian. And then it kind of evolved towards heavy Satanism. And I guess that's kind of where the roots started. And then it was mayhem is a big influence in that whole start in the 90s in Scandinavia mostly. And I think it was their old vocalist who later ended up killing himself, which some other guy put that picture on the cover. But I guess he was like one of the first that came up with corpse paint, painting your face, but not in a way that Kiss does or anything, but in a way that it's like a corpse. So I think that's where that came from, kind of, because he was really into the idea of the music shouldn't only feel and sound like death, it should also look and even smell like death. So he had like stories that he would inhale a bag with a death crow in it to get the sense of death. And to be honest, that's personally for me also what I'm at the start mostly got very attracted and some morbid curiosity towards that for me is the essence of black metal too, still to this day, you know.
Do you feel that the conventions of black metal that you described, the corpse paint, the obsession with death, the occult interest, those are all a big part of Doodswens?
They became a big part of us for Doodswens because it's just, for us, it's never something we planned or tried. We never tried to do anything or copy anything or be like anything. We just kind of did what felt right for us. And then I guess that gets influenced by the things that you're influenced or inspired by, which for me lies heavy in that 90s black metal. But doing the corpse paint and having our music and art about death is just something that feels very natural to us. Even if black metal didn't evolve or exist in the way it does, I really full-heartedly believe that we would still be doing Doodswens the same way as we're doing it now.
Now, as far as you being a Dutch black metal band, you know, I'm familiar with a number of Dutch bands that have come out in the last decade or so. We're doing, you know, maybe this more atmospheric style of black metal. Do you feel like there are elements of that sound in Doodswens?
Well, maybe if you go like dig for it and put some comparisons next to each other, I bet you can find some, you know, being from that same country, region, or culture. I think those things influence us, whether we want to or not. But yeah, once again, we are not like actively or consciously inspired by any of them. So for me, it would be very hard to pinpoint certain similarities.
Okay, fair enough. Can you tell me a little bit about how the project came together and what your intentions were when you first started?
Yeah. I started a music school at some point in 2017, where I became like the first female metal drummer to this day that has graduated from that music education. And it was actually on the first day that I met another girl. We were in the same class, you know, the only 2 out of the 3 girls in our school year, in our class. And she was wearing like a Dark Throne t-shirt and I was wearing a Battery hoodie. And on that first day we just kind of looked at each other and it was a match, you know.
Yeah.
And then we decided like, let's do something and started hanging and talking about everything. And then on Friday afternoon, there was always some class for like 2 hours that you could kind of fill in the time. So work on your homework, on your project, or just if there's an empty rehearsal space, just go in the rehearsal space and do whatever you want, basically. Practice by yourself. But we, on that first Friday, we had the opportunity, we went into the rehearsal room together. And basically the rest is history, you know, we just started jamming and this is what came out.
So that original 2-person lineup, was that the lineup that did the demo in 2019?
Yeah, the demo, a split, a single, and then eventually the first album in 2021. That was all as a duo.
When did you decide to expand to a trio?
But yeah, that was also never a conscious decision, but just a happening due to circumstances, which I guess kind of started already at the point that we started getting like gigs, more gigs, bigger gigs, PR attention, but mostly the gigs because the other girl was, or I guess to this day, is really struggling with some things like emetophobia, so that's like the fear of throwing up, and claustrophobia. And for her, being on a stage was just too much. She felt trapped, she felt like she had to throw up, and then she got in this vicious cycle of only getting more and more unable to play, and just like full blown panic and anxiety attack. To a point where it became a big question that if we arrived to a venue and we had to play a gig, it was always the question if we, or mostly she, would end up even being able to play. And a few times, 2 times I think, she fainted right before or during the first note. And then we never were able to finish the set. And for me, that was very heartbreaking because first, like, go through hell, literally. But at the same time, I wanted nothing more than go on that fucking stage and play. And then it came to a point where we got our first big tour offer to support Valkyria and Marduk on a 30-day tour through Europe in the midst of our first album release. And I was like so down and ready for it, also coming from a very dark and difficult time myself. It really felt like the doors of the opened up again for me, and I got all these opportunities that I've been dreaming of and living towards for so long. But at the same moment, she completely crashed. And yeah, we had some very difficult conversations. And eventually, 2 weeks before the tour, I kind of had to pull the plug for her. I was like, if you're thinking about harming yourself just so you won't have to be on that tour, we need to find a solution right fucking now. And then also very quickly I said, like, because whatever happens, I'm going in that fucking tour bus. So maybe just record your guitar and your vocals and I'll do it myself. Or fuck it, I'll learn how to do the vocals and we'll find a guitarist. And then we went kind of into panic mode, well, problem solving mode. And we spent like 24 hours straight calling every single musician we knew. And that's actually the first time we ended up with finding 2 people to substitute her. And eventually I ended up doing that tour with 2 guitarists, of one of them did vocals. And then from there I've just worked with session musicians for the following tours and gigs, which none of them stuck very long because it just wasn't a good match. The magic I had with her is impossible to replace. But only when I found now the most recent lineup that we did the new album with, it became very close. But all that period in between, it's just been a trio with mostly session musicians, still keeping up the dream, the goal, and the intention of this band, to spread darkness and make some very difficult and heavy subjects maybe a bit more approachable and available to express and talk about for people. But yeah, that's basically the, I guess, story.
So when you play live, are you playing drums and doing the vocals, or just playing drums?
So right now I am, yeah.
Okay.
So it was already my dream. Like that first day when I entered the rehearsal room with the other girl, even without ever having the intention of becoming a band, let alone thinking we would become one. We were just jamming, and I had a microphone too. It's my big dream. Also, when I went to that music school, I was like thinking, am I going to do vocals or drums? But then I ended up like drums is something I can learn more, and being there around some very good drummers, it was just. And then that first rehearsal, I also realized like this is really fucking difficult to do both. So I put down the mic and focused on drums for the following year. And then even that first tour when she had to pull the plug and couldn't do that tour, and I was like, fuck it, I'll do the vocals. But it was too much. I couldn't do that and prepare for that in 2 weeks. And then the whole era with the session musicians was just like, in hindsight, kind of dark and negative too. So there was not a lot of room mentally also for me to really sit down and do it. And it was only until I found our now official new lineup that I really had the mental and physical ability and also support from people around me to start doing the drums and the vocals together. And then, yeah, I just really went for it. Did it on a tour 35 days in a row, and then we wrote that record and recorded it too. And now there's no way going back, you know. This is Doodswens now with me on drums and vocals, and I don't think it will ever be any other way. So maybe after everything, you know, with some negative parts in this story, of course, but maybe all of that was meant to be for us as a band and me personally to end up and reach the point of where we are now.
Can you tell me how songs start for you? How does the process start for you?
It starts either from a feeling or some kind of emotion or expression, memory that I want to express, and then find the words, the feeling, or the melody for it. But basically, it like always starts with either a melody, a guitar melody, a drum groove, or a vocal line, which can come from either one of three of us. And then we lay that down, and sometimes it's just a 10-second start, sometimes it's already a 1 or 2 minute layout. And then we just work on it with the three of us until it becomes a whole. And in that process, there's like a lot that comes on the table but gets thrown off the table. But eventually we end up with like a final full story almost that for us really captures what we wanted to express in that specific song from start to finish. And then it's a song.
I'm curious, the music school experience that you had, was it more performance-based, or did you also study composition and things like that?
Everything. To be honest, it's really cool. It's called the Metal Factory and it's located in Eindhoven. And I guess it's one of at least the first and only one in Europe. There might be more of this in US that I'm not familiar with, but official music education, that you get an official music degree that's fully focused on metal. And the school revolves around anything from performance to preparing you for session work. So you have a class every week. You need to learn a certain amount of songs, like existing songs, prepare your own parts. And then on the spot, the teacher goes like, you on vocals, you on drums, you on bass, play this song that you had to prepare together now on stage. So that already captures so much, right? It captures your skills on your instrument. It captures working together, being able to perform on the spot. Yeah, and performance. You also get music theory, music history. You have to do some internships. But then in all that, you can also kind of figure out your own path. I guess many of us started there as really the dream of owning our instrument. But many of us ended up being an audio technician or being something completely else. Like the other girl, for example, when she went on a different path and figured out that live music is just she's not made for that. She is now a full-time professional photographer. Started out also in music, but now also fashion. So it's kind of like the school gives you everything you would need to find your own path. But you still need to put in the own work of self-exploration and working on yourself and your instrument and your skills. And then the school is just like one big ball of people to network with, opportunities, experience, and you can kind of make it fit as you want. And I think 4 years ago, they went international. So now anybody that's listening and might be interested in that, they do the education fully international now. So in English.
That's awesome. So a few weeks ago, the second Doodswens album, which is self-titled, came out through Verrot Records. Tell me a little bit about the album and your intentions for it.
So the album got kind of born after this whole backstory that I just went over, after the girl leaving, struggling a lot with session musicians and people around me. Then we got a tour offer again to open for Marduk and Origin on a 35-day tour. And I basically said yes to that tour even before I had the lineup. And I made the decision I was going to do vocals. And then actually my bassist, was also on that music school. So he's been a long-time friend ever since. And it felt very natural and logical to me to ask him for bass, even almost questioning myself why we didn't do that earlier. And then through mutual friends and other bands, P also came on our path. And it basically started as like, hey, you guys want to do this tour with me? And it was an immediate match, like personally, creatively, musically. But I also had some demos already because I was like, trying out with my vocals and drums. So actually I had a demo ready for the song that now is known as Vlaamse Vloek and the one before, Devil's Stone. And when things went so smoothly with R&P, I sent them these demos, and within a week or something, they sent me like a full song back. And for the first rehearsal, we already practiced those new songs. So then it became very clear to me, like, oh, this is something different than session guys. This is turning into a full-blown lineup, also friendship and team. And then we did that 35-day tour, and it basically just started evolving more and more and more. And by the end of that tour, we had like 5 out of the, what is it, 7 songs? Or 6? No, 7 songs. Fuck. By the end of that tour, we had like a lot of stuff and things down for that new album already. It just went so organically. I guess I had a lot of, feelings and ideas ready already from the past years of everything me and the band had been through. And then with these guys, it was just finally the moment to, let it all come out and make it happen. And it was also really cool because we were doing it on a tour. So you can kind of come up with an idea and try it the same night in front of an audience. Because luckily, I guess I'm still kind of glad that we're on a level that we can get away with that. If you're bigger, it's probably not a good idea to play some unreleased songs or something live. But, luckily we're still on a level that we can do that. And that was really cool. And I think that shaped a lot of the album. Is that we got an idea, we went and tried it out the same night, and immediately we could go over it like, this worked for me, but that worked for you. And then evolving it as we're playing them, and also seeing the audience reactions, and then we came back and we just continued that process. And I think by the summer of that year the album was pretty much done. And then it took another year until we found the right studio and engineer to record it. But I would say that that's the story of how this album came to be.
Tell me about the studio where you recorded this and the team who engineered it, mixed it, and mastered it.
We ended up at a studio called Galloway Studios, which is in a Dutch city called Nijmegen. And the engineer is Sebastiaan van Bijleveld. And also there we ended up through mutual friends. And we had been through people and places. I had actually recorded already in Kiel. I have some friends in Kiel and Endstille. If you're into black metal, you might know the band Endstille. They have their like rehearsal room and studio there. And I was there for a while and I recorded everything. But it just didn't feel right. It was like, this is not how this album is going to be. And it's important for us actually also to record it together in the same room, live, feel each other. And yeah, we just didn't find the right place for that. Until we, through mutual friends or something, Sebastiaan came on our path. And then we went to his studio for like introduction, meet each other, feel the room. And it was just an instant click also. It just felt like, yes, okay, we found the place, but also the guy. Because already on that first day, when we were just kind of meeting each other, he was like really into the whole meaning of everything and already came up with some like very out of the box creative producer thingies that was just speaking to me so much that we made a date, we planned a date, and then we went there. We set everything up in a room. And then, he's the engineer to go nerd out on mics and everything. And my guitarist is really into that too. So they kind of nerded out on that. And I'm just mostly busy with the whole spiritual part and, making all the bad energies, doing something with that, lighting some sage and having some ritual. And then I just counted in, he pressed record and we started playing.
What did you want Sebastiaan and Alex McCullough, who mastered the album, to bring to the sound of the album? Did you want something that felt more like a live album? Did you want that kind of energy?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely our intention is to do something real and organic. Nothing like made or produced or put together. So that was very important for us, and that also happens to be something Sebastiaan is metal record. But at the same time, we also thought like, that's pretty cool too, because we're kind of doing our own thing anyway. And if you go to, there are still some famous black metal producers that are on our list to hopefully work with one day. But for this record, through a generic mix of black metal, but just some guy who's also doing it organically by trusting his gut and kind of knowing what we want from conversation. We just trusted him with it. And I guess it's also we did so much for the recording process. A lot of the work was done and prepared already so that he could hit record and we play. And I guess the mixing after that was, I don't want to go over his work because I'm pretty sure he still put a lot of work and effort and time and detail into that. But, the main focus was to record that as it is with the three of us. And that's something that Sebastiaan did very well. And then Sebastiaan, because, after you record something and mix it, you need to let it master somewhere, especially if you want to print it on vinyl. And he was like, yeah, my main contact for that is Alex in the US. So I could recommend him. So I sent him an email like, yo, what do you think? Can you help us with that? He was like, yeah, I'm down. I think I can really help you with that and do something, cool, but mostly something that you're looking for. And he did, and he sent us that first master, and it was an immediate match too. And then it all came together, actually.
That's awesome. So, the second Doodswens album, which is called Doodswens, is out now through Smart Records. Please tell everyone listening to this or watching it on YouTube how they can order the new album. What's the best way to get it?
You can order it directly from Smart. They're really good. They call themselves vinyl maniacs. They're really good in vinyl. And they sell also a pretty cool white, yellow, orange swirl. It looks kind of like a candle. So if you want like that cool vinyl, you can order it through them. But if you want to support us directly, which really helps us a lot, you can go to our Bandcamp. And there is everything, the record, the digital record, but also you can order the vinyl, the CD. And we made some merch, which is only available through us on Bandcamp. Some t-shirt, long sleeve, hoodie, backpack. That's all available on our Bandcamp.
So I just need to ask you about the vinyl, because I believe Svart created 3 different versions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, there's the black version, I guess standard black print. The violet, like kind of blood red. And then the yellow, orange, white swirl. And they also made a special Roadburn edition because we played our secret album release show in a festival Roadburn in the skate park. And they pressed a special Roadburn edition, which is really cool. But I don't think that's available, actually. It was only available there. So, can't really say. I can say something about it, but it won't help anyone. But it was really cool. So if you got your hands on one of those, it's good on you.
Maybe the obsessive collectors can find it on the secondhand market or something.
Yeah, maybe the price just got raised by $10 on Discogs or something.
And if people want to follow Doodswens online and get updates on tours and things like that, what's the best way to do that?
I guess we're mostly active on Instagram. A team of people helping us now, but I'm still at the buttons of the control, And I'm just most active on Instagram. Then I cross-post to Facebook, of course. We also have a TikTok, mainly because I don't want some kind of fan or something to make one before I did. And then having that, like Gorgoroth has that problem with their social media. So I have a TikTok too, but I'm mostly like mirroring stuff there. So really, like the best way to follow us is Instagram or YouTube or Bandcamp. I try to update people on Bandcamp too.
It was very nice speaking with you. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want the listeners to know?
Yeah, I kind of always end up saying, stay true to yourself, follow your own path, and hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Thanks, Si.
Thank you. Hail Satan.